This is a land of dreams and madness. Children's stories come to life.
Hello there. Welcome to Tales from PERIDEA. Today, we've got a very special guest on today for the season 3 premiere. I was wanting a different not to say not for it to kind of come out bad, but I had thought I had scheduled a couple other people, but I haven't heard back from anybody, and Mr. Ricky was kind enough to make some time to hop on my humble little podcast over here. So, Mr. Pop the Bounty Collector, why don't you go ahead and tell us about your channel and where we can find you and everything like that?
Well, it's an honor, and we starting season 3 with a banger, ladies and
Yes,
gentlemen.
sir.
I am Pop the Bounty Collector, aka Ricky. You can find me on YouTube or on Instagram. I am a Star Wars nerd, 42 years old, with 3 kids, and still collect Star Wars. I go to conventions, I do unboxing reviews, I do reactions, I do Lego lives, video game streaming, whatever, anything has to do with Star Wars, I'm there, especially when it comes to conventions and Star Wars celebration, ICC Con. I just went to my first one this year. I'm ready for next year. But anything Star Wars, you can find on my channel. And on Instagram, I usually post my links to my channel, or if I'm out and about, I see a nice collectible, I post on there. But yeah, that's me, Pop the Bounty Collector.
Yeah, man. I can't wait to actually run into you at ICC, the ICCC, what however many C's there are.
I
Can't
triple
wait to
C. Yeah,
yeah, I triple C. I must just start saying that.
yeah.
But I can't wait to run into you, Tony, and basically everybody else that is posting about it because I'm going. It's going to be my first I triple C, and I'm very excited.
Is this going to be your first con, or you've been to a con before?
I actually went to Ocala Comic Con and met
Oh, yeah,
Tony
that's
down
right.
there.
You met Tony. Yes, that's true. You did right. And didn't you buy something from him too?
I bought ass load of stuff. I bought a couple figures. I got this plaque actually from that I got signed
Ooh,
by
and
Miss
in
Jen
red.
Hadid.
I like that.
She actually stole my marker. Actually, I think I was just so starstruck that I just kind of left it on the table.
Oh, dang. Yeah, I heard she's extremely beautiful in
Oh, dude,
person. I
she's so
even got like,
beautiful.
they said, like, Hayden eyes. Like, you get. Have you had a chance to meet Hayden Christensen or not yet?
No, I goofed up because I was actually watching one of Tony's streams and he mentioned something about Tampa Bay Comic Con. And
Yeah.
I went and looked it up and they had Hayden tickets. And I was like, I just need to last until like Monday morning because I was waiting to get paid just so I had enough on my card, make sure that it actually went through.
Uh-huh.
And by the time I was able to get on the website, it was
Dang.
sold out.
Dang. Dang, that sucks. But you definitely, I mean, he's been touring a lot. And
Yeah, man.
like I tell you, in my first Hayden experience was a photo op. And that I didn't get an autograph yet. And I was killing myself. I was like, Ricky, you're a big episode 2 fan. Like, what the heck? Why you didn't even get an autograph? But I stood in line for 2 hours, and this was at MegaCon, and finally got to meet Hayden Christensen, and it might have been 60 seconds. It felt like forever. He saw my face. He knew that I wasn't right at the moment because I'm like, dude, this is Anakin. He puts his hand on my shoulder and he says, "Are you all right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "Bro, you're an angel. You're an angel right in front of me." He looked at my shirt because I had the big Hayden uh, face on his shirt, and he's like, "Wow." He smiles. We take the picture. I leave, and I'm like, and then they hand me the photo, and I'm like, I just met Hayden Christensen. I got to do
Dude,
this again. And then I we did it big. We went to Chicago this past year. Me and Tony, I got to meet not only Hayden again, but Mark Hamill. Get Mark Hamill's autograph, get Hayden's autograph, then take a photo with both of them. So that experience, even though it was a lot of money, I'm just coming back from that money. Finally, just in time for Christmas, I have money to buy gifts because it was really tough a couple of months after Chicago because I was like, I can't buy nothing. I gotta pay my bills. I just can't buy nothing because I spent so much money in Chicago. But those are memories that regardless if I pass away next year and anything happens crazy, at least I can say I met Hayden and Mark in Chicago.
Yeah, man. That oh my god. I would love to meet either one of them. Oh,
Yeah.
um
It's a lot. It's a lot of money. A lot of people I know some Star Wars fans that they wish they could meet Hayden. Hayden's not so much, especially but Mark was very excited.
yeah.
But it's like, yeah, it's a lot of money, but it's like it's an experience. So you're not only paying, even though it might be 2 minutes, 60 seconds, is the experience of that I'm gonna meet Mark Hamill. And I got lucky that Mark Hamill said both Mark Hamill and Hayden said something about my Rebel Scum t-shirt. So then it was like, they were kind of telling me, okay, go behind them so you can take the photo. And I'm like, I'm not being rude. They stopped me and asked me a question. But if I made a t-shirt, where did I get it from? I like it. So I was like, bro, these are crazy. Hayden and Mark Hamill are asking me a question. I should be asking them a question. So yeah, again, it's just an experience. And think I got to meet Hayden 3 times that day. Because I try to
oh.
be a little sneak.
Yeah.
One of my friends said, "Hey, I got the 10 a.m. ticket for an autograph to go get Hayden's autograph." He's like, "Don't." And I said, "He goes, what ticket you got?" And I had like I don't know, like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock time. He's like, "They don't care about the time. Come on, come with me the escalator." And I did the whole line and everything. I got through. When I got inside the booth, the guy's like, "Let me see your ticket." He's like, "Nah, man, you can't. You got to come back. Come back at 1." My friend's like, "Come on. He already did the line. We've been waiting. He can't just get his autograph now." He's like, "No, I'm sorry. They send me up here specifically to just make sure only 10 a.m. people get through because
Bro.
he has a schedule. So they don't want no additional autographs. Everything's set on the schedule." So I'm like, "Oh." So I thought I had to leave. And then my friend's like, "Hey, can he at least stay with us?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I literally went through the line. My friend got his stuff signed. I shook Hayden's hand and I gave him my podcast sticker and told him episode 2 is my favorite. And then he smiled, left, came back and did the photo op with him and Mark. I had that. So I saw him and then he started talking about my t-shirt. So then when I went for my autograph later on the day, he saw me already twice. So when I came through to my actual time, he's like, "Hey." He's like,
Yeah.
"Hey." So he recognized me for just being there like already twice. And then he signed my plaque, which give me a second.
No problem.
So usually you have to pay for quotes. You have to now we live in a world where you just pay for the autograph, but depending on what you get signed, they charge you because like Funko Pops, they charge you more. If it's a
Oh
helmet, a
yeah.
lightsaber, they charge you more. Because now the autograph is just like their 8 by 11 picture that they have on the table. Like pick a picture and you get that's your autograph. So if it says
Yeah.
125, 250, that's the autograph. Unless you come with something like a plaque. So I came with a plaque, and I don't know if you can see it, but it says
Oh
I
man.
hate sand on there.
Oh dude, that's awesome.
So I didn't pay for this quote. I just, he was like, "Hey, I seen you again. How you doing?" I said, "How you doing?" I showed him the plaque. He's like, "Oh, cool." He liked it. And I said, can you do me a favor? Can you write I hate sand? He goes, "You want it right here in the top?" I'm like, "Yeah." Put I hate sand, put a signature, boom, done. I came out, showed Tony. He's like, "Bro, what?" He wrote "I hate sand" on there? Did you pay you didn't pay extra for that? I'm like, "No, it's free." I was like, "Oh, you son of a," and I was like, because Tony's bought his auto and he went later than me. So Tony was still standing in or sitting in line while I already got my auto. So yeah, man. This is like memories right here, bro. Because episode 2 is my favorite. I hate sand. It's a classic, but I know you got some questions for me. I tell you, I could talk about Star Wars for days. I told Gazer, Gazer was telling me, "Yo, we need you on." I said, "You need a part 2 and episode 3 with me. For me, I could go for days." But I know you got questions.
Dude, before we get into that, basically your entire experience with like Hayden and Mark talking about your shirt, that's pretty much what Ivana did. Like whenever I went to go take my picture with her. Oops, sorry. I keep wanting to go to my
Oh,
laptop,
look at the picture.
but dude, right before there was the Q&A panel, and I got up and asked her like, why does Balin have such a disdain towards Anakin? And she gave like kind of like a, well, I can't really speak on his journey type of answer. But then I
Mhm.
go to get my photo with her, and she keeps talking to me about the question, apologizing that she couldn't answer the question, asking me how I'm
Oh.
going. Bro, the workers are literally like trying to drag me out of the thing. And I'm like, she's talking to me, guys. Like, I'm not the one that initiated the conversation. Like, I just wanted to take my picture and go about my day. Like,
Mhm. Oh, wow, that is crazy.
yeah,
That
man.
she
And
actually remembered and just said, "Hey, I'm sorry. I couldn't answer the question." Wow,
dude,
bro.
then I had waited like 2 hours in line because I only had general admission. I didn't get VIP or nothing, so I wasn't skipping no lines. So I waited up until her panel. They gave us all numbers to come back and get our spots back in line. I wait another like 45 minutes, get up there, and she looks and her eyes get real bright and like real wide. And she goes, "Guys, this guy asked a really good question about Balin. I wish I could answer it. Like, it's so crazy." And I was like, "Yo, what is going
This is
on right
this is
now?"
during the autograph?
Yes, dude.
Oh, yo, that is crazy.
Oh, and
Wow.
it pissed me off because literally like the three people in front of me, they all got quotes from her. And I'm just trying to get like "You Have No Power" on my autograph and two that I got from my buddies.
Mhm.
They tried to charge me like 40, 50 extra dollars for it, but everybody's getting it for free before me. I was like, you know what?
Dang.
Screw it. Then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be a little sneaky. And I was like, hey, Ivana, so I run a Star Wars pod, and the second her team heard pod, they immediately shut me down and was like, nope, she's busy. And I'm just like, can she answer the question? Like,
Damn, man. Yeah. It's crazy, to be honest with you. I think a lot of actors that are in Star Wars either were fans before Star Wars or after they started filming their stuff, they became fans.
yeah,
So the guy that play Carson Tiva, I know he's joined a lot of people's podcasts, but he's a Star Wars fan. He collects Hasbro figures.
dude,
I'm like,
that's
bro,
awesome.
that's awesome. But I think a lot of them, their handlers or their managers kind of stray them away because they can somehow slip on a podcast, release information that are not supposed to be released, and then that's a breach of their contract and they could get in trouble. So I think a
Yeah,
lot of them, they only want to do selective things where they could see the questions pre in advance to see, nope, we can answer this. We can't answer that. We can answer this. We can answer this. So I think, yeah, because I think if it was up to her and she didn't have her team, she might have been like, "Yo, yeah, I want to join your podcast because you gave me a good question." Like the question stood in her head so much that she had brought it up twice after you asked it. That's crazy. Crazy.
Yeah, man. Dude, that was like easily the best experience of my life. And I did try to get a little bit sneaky again and tried to get her to kind of slip up on Ahsoka season 2, which I don't know if it's her or her PR team, but she is very well versed in like tiptoeing around questions so she don't slip anything.
Yeah.
But I was like, I loved you in Ahsoka. Like, I can't wait for season 2. I'm really hoping we get to see Abeloth or whatever it is that Balin's looking for. And she just looked at me and she was gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
oh man,
I don't know how they're gonna do that, man. It was just Ray Stevens, bro. It sucks. It
I
sucks
think
to
that they could easily find somebody that looks like him, and if they get permission from like his family, obviously do what they did with Luke and deep fake him.
mm-hmm.
But
Yeah. It just sucks because like
he
and it was
never
so funny. It's so funny that Ray Stevens was Punisher in one of the movies. I
really.
don't yeah, he's a Punisher. Um so like we're not talking about Punisher, like it's Punisher before obviously the TV show and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, his movie was pretty bloody. He was a badass Punisher. All
Oh man.
shaved, slick black hair. You got to watch his movie. So when I saw him, I was like, "Yo, he's Balin." And to me, Balin and Shin were Ahsoka show. Like to me, they even trump over Thrawn. Like their
Really?
yeah, their story, it just felt so good. Like they started the show and they thought they were Jedi's and they came in and slayed everybody in that ship. And I'm like, bro, she had a Padawan braid. And I'm like, but they don't call themselves Jedi's. He talks about, Hayden or Anakin and then the Order 66. And like, I want a Balin backstory. And I was like, dang, now obviously they might have to do that animated, but still, like
Yeah.
that story between Balin and Shin and then the way it ended. Like at that point, he's like, "You're on your own. I gotta go my own path." And I'm like, wait, where are you going? Where are you going? You just left your Padawan like that. And then she
In
thought
the
she was
galaxy
slick.
that neither of you know.
Yeah, he knew something was up there, so he knew something was there. Obviously, you saw the hand, the father, the son, the sister, the whole
The
yeah,
background that we
yeah,
got.
background. So he knew that was there, and he just leaves his Padawan like that's it.
Yeah.
Nothing else I could do for you. Good luck. And then when she had to face not only Sabine, Ahsoka, and Ezra, she looked around and she's like, "Oh, I'm out. I'm out. I know this is not good. I'm out." And she left. So now we need to know what she's doing. So
Yeah, man.
I can't wait. It just uh I get it. Production time, filming, editing, making
Press
sure cutting,
tours.
reshooting in case something's bad. But bro, you guys are taking too long. Stuff should be dropping every year. But whatever. Whatever.
Oh man. Yeah. I can't wait for season 2. It's gonna be a banger.
Oh, definitely is gonna be a banger. I'm like, whew. Well, I am pulling a Tony. So every Tuesday I'm off for Skeleton Crew. So I know whenever, but Skeleton Crew kind of, did a switcheroo and said, "Hey, we're gonna show the first 2 episodes on Monday." I'm like, bro, why you do that? I
Yeah,
had to I
man.
had to leave work early. Shout outs to my boy Vic. He was the other manager with me closing. I was like, "Yo, you don't mind if I dip a little bit early?" And he's like, "Nah, you good." So I left like around 8:20 to be home at 8:40 to, watch it with my girlfriend, so then I could go live afterwards and talk about it.
Dude, I work overnight, so I was sleeping when the premiere happened, but sorry, I managed to catch a little bit of Star Wars Gazers watch party last night.
Mm.
And dude, I gotta say that show, the first episode really took me by surprise. Like I just got done watching the second episode before we hopped on here.
Hmm.
Not as big of a fan as the second episode. Like I'm not saying it's a bad show. Like I absolutely love it. It kind of took me by surprise. But episode 1 I felt like was more fast paced and more action packed than episode 2 was, and I figured that would be more action packed considering they're actually out in space now.
Hey, but was it what's his name? SD33 or
Dude,
SM,
I
or is it S? It's me,
think
you
it's
know,
F.
SM.
Yeah, I think it's SM33.
SM33. Yeah, that was
Dude,
enough action right there. My man took out the whole
yes,
squad
yes.
with his peg leg and everything. Took out the whole squad. But yeah, that episode, it was about 24 minutes, 25 minutes, so it's kind of short. I
Yeah.
did like to see all. I actually like both episodes. I think in my live cast last night, I gave both of them a 9 out of 10. I couldn't give it a 10 out of 10, and that's very weird for me to just come out off rip and say 9 out of 10 for both episodes. And I think it's because the nostalgia, like, feeling that I get. I am an '80s kid. Um, all the Star Wars creatures, you know, the what's it called, the restaurant person. I don't know the alien's name, but
Yeah.
I need to go back and check to see who's the voice actor of that, because he was hilarious. Where did you get credits? And then the other guy starts stealing it from him. And then the kid hits them all with the soup in the air, whatever that bowl. And then now you have all these creatures and pirates and all this stuff chasing you. And I'm like, bro, this is awesome. This is like, there was like no, I mean, supposedly at the time there was no Jedi, there was no lightsabers going on, none of that stuff, but it just still felt like Star Wars. But I like that I get, like, again, we talked about it, a lot of people talked about Goonies vibes. Episode 1 was more like, it felt like the Ravagers from Guardians of the Galaxy kind of chasing, and then it's like, you're the captain, now you're not the captain no more, kicking them out, kicking them out. Um, the kids playing with fake lightsabers. So I remember
Dude.
doing that as a kid. That even though it's a speeder bike, man, who did not have a bike when they were a kid, bro? The bike was like the ultimate thing, like jumping off ramps, going through the woods. Like, I live in Florida, so when I moved to Florida, it was 1992, and I moved from New York. So New York, like, you got your trains, you got your taxis, you got your buses. So you could get anywhere real quick. And when I moved to Orlando and Kissimmee area in Florida, it was nothing but trees. I'm like, Mom, where did you move us? Like, the nearest bus stop was like miles away. You had to
Oh
walk.
god.
So I remember begging my mom for a bike, and it felt like you were so free. It kind of felt like, in a sense, you're almost to the point of an adult, and
Yeah,
you're just
man.
riding your bike everywhere. Like, you got your transportation. So having those speeders, even though I had like the little flare things and a little handlebar in the basket, man, I'll take that speeder any day. That thing went fast through that forest, like a Return of the Jedi kind of reminded me in that moment. So, but yeah, I like it, man. I like it so much that I just literally this morning, because I thought about it, purchased the Onyx Cinder ship Lego.
No
So
shoot.
I'll be building that live. And I do Lego live on the channel, so I'll be building that live once I get it.
I'll be sure to check it out, and me and Daisy will cause multiple shenanigans in the chat.
You and Daisy, have you had Daisy on? Has
Yeah, man,
Daisy?
we did the first ever live interview.
Oh, for real?
Yeah,
I
man.
gotta see that. I gotta see that. I gotta see that, because Daisy be getting herself. Did the camera hit Daisy in her head or something? Because
No,
Daisy be getting
man.
Daisy you watch. I know you're gonna watch this, Daisy.
Yeah.
You be getting injured too much, man.
I think she edited out of one of the Fortnite videos that me and her recorded, but we were playing, and next thing you know, all I heard was like a boom, and I was, "What was that?" And she said, "I just bashed my knee against my desk."
Oh, Daisy, Daisy. Is Daisy
Oh
going
man,
to ICC?
no, but I'm a try to get her to go for 2026.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, man. But let's go ahead and get into these questions because I think you are doing a Lego live later tonight. Actually, this is
Are
being
you,
recorded uh in advance. But what got you into Star Wars?
so okay, so I'll give you kind of like the whole just the beginning of my childhood. So I heard of Star Wars. I seen little bits and pieces of Star Wars on TV. I already knew that the bad guy in black with the helmet was the father of the kid, that he cut his own son's arm off, and that the princess and the kid with the less arm were brother and sister. That's what I knew. That's it. Like, back then in my time, right? Being a Star Wars fan was considered being a nerd, not cool. Uh, if you like Star Trek and Star Wars, you would get picked on, made fun of. So I was more of a sports kid at the time. Like when I was little, obviously I played with GI Joes, He Man, Ghostbusters, Ninja Turtles, and then I it kind of stopped with Power Rangers. Power Rangers, I think I was like 12 or 13. And when I got to being 13, I was in middle school. And then that's when I started seeing girls being real pretty. And that's the first time I started wearing cologne to school, buying some Nike stuff. So I was more into like,
Being a
looking
little
good
player.
fashion wise. And then the girls, and then I was definitely into sports, basketball, football, baseball, collecting cards. So it kind of went from toys to collecting cards. And it wasn't until I was my senior year in high school, 17 years old, and I saw a commercial of George Lucas remastered with more like scenes, the special edition of all the Star Wars movies. And the commercial got me. I was like, yo, this is everything that I just seen in this commercial. This is what they were showing on TV. What's going on? So I remember asking my uncle because during the summers I was go down to like Boca Raton, Fort Lauderdale, and spend time with my cousin and uncle. And me and my uncle were always like movie fans, right? My uncle had a whole bunch of movies, or we would go to the movie theaters. And back then, we used to go to PPM. That's what he always called it, PPM, Poor People Movies, because there was a movie theater that would show movies that came out of theater like a year ago. So it was so cool because it was a cheap movie theater. Like they didn't charge too much for popcorn, they didn't charge too much for sodas and snacks. And you will watch movies, but a movie that probably already came out on VHS or DVD, whatever. But that theater is still showing it, so you're still getting that theater experience. So he's like, nah, man, because he never would want to go to the regular theaters because he's like, they charging too much to go to the movies these days. And I'm like, come on, please take me. He's like, don't worry, I got those movies. And I'm like, oh, God, bro, he's not listening to me. He comes out of his room and he had the original trilogy on VHS. So I'm watching
Bro.
the original way, no special edition, nothing. We took the whole weekend. I remember he ordered pizza and just me and him. He's on the couch. I'm kind of laying on the floor like this as a kid, watching them. And at that moment, 1997, I became a Star Wars fan. So, um, no, I wasn't 17. Correction, I was 15. So 97 was 15. 2 years later, now I'm 17. And I got hired for AMC theaters in downtown Disney over here. And I got hired 2 weeks before episode one. So I became a Star Wars fan in 1997, 15. Like I started to like it, but I didn't buy no merch or anything. I didn't buy no t-shirts or anything like that. I just said like I'm a Star Wars fan. I like them. I like all three movies. When episode two came out and I started getting money and working, episode one merch. I'm sorry, not episode two. Episode one merch, all the Darth Maul t-shirts, toothpaste, mugs, the action figures, it's everything. I was just going crazy because I still live with my parents. I ain't paying no bills, no car payment. So all my money went to Star Wars collectibles. And from that moment, I could say, okay, I am a truly Star Wars fan. So all this stuff right here is fairly new, but I got a lot of 1999 stuff, and that's when I can say it took off. I think I seen episode one with no exaggeration, probably more than 40 times. Because I used to go, what I used to do is because I was still in high school. So we got to see episode one the Wednesday before release. So when I came to school on Thursday, I'm like, yo, 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 I saw episode one. And everybody's like, no, you didn't. It doesn't come out until Friday. I said, I work in the theaters. I saw it before everybody. So I felt like that was like the biggest thing. I saw it before all you guys. You guys didn't see it, but I saw it, because I work in the movie theaters. And then I used to, after school, we get out like at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I think my shifts at the theater were like 4 or 5. So I would just drive to the movie theaters early, hop into a theater because it was free for me, and just sit down and watch episode one. And then look at my watch and say, okay, let me go to the break room, change, and now it's time for my shift. Or if I
Yeah,
work
dude.
Saturday, early. Sometimes they schedule me early at 9, 8. I'm over here doing the nachos, the hot dogs, and all that stuff. Soon as my schedule is done at 4 or 5, I would just stay. And they're like, "You're still here?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm watching episode one." And they're like, "Really? Again?" Sometimes for my break, I would just go in, and back then when you worked at AMC theaters, the only thing that were free for employees was watching a movie, popcorn, and soda. That's it. The nachos, the hot dogs, the candies, all that stuff you had to pay at a discount price. And they used to give your popcorn in a white bag, just a plain white bag, because you can't get the nice fancy AMC bags.
Yeah.
White bag. So what we do is you'll grab 2 hot dogs, put it in the white bag, and then fill the top with popcorn. And then you'd be like, "Hey, I'm going to break." And you got 2 hot dogs in there with some popcorn. And I'm in there eating hot dogs, popcorn, watching that on my break. Oh my god, it was fun times. Like it was to the point where if I ever watch episode one with somebody, they're gonna hate me because I quote like every single thing that they say because that movie is just, even though it's not my favorite, episode one is always gonna be like in my heart because it just brings back memories of 17-year-old me. So that's what got me into Star Wars. Long story, long explanation, but I had to explain.
Dude, that I love hearing how people get into Star Wars. Like, oh my god, that's awesome. I'm jealous of pretty much everybody because I was born in 2000, so the only one I got to see in theaters, luckily enough, was Revenge of the Sith. But when they released it for like the what was it, the 25th anniversary, back in theaters, dude, I watched it before I went to the theaters, saw it in theaters, came home, watched Phantom Menace again. Saturday went and saw it. Dude, it was just watching the Phantom Menace on the big screen was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I like that they do that. I know my girlfriend's like, it's like a waste of money because we got Disney Plus, we could just watch it here. But no, it's like for those people that grew up going to the theaters for premieres and watching the movie theaters, it's a different type of experience. You don't
Yeah,
have the
man.
Dolby sound speakers in your house. You don't have those recliner kind of chairs in the movie theaters. You don't have that movie. Sorry, that microwave popcorn ain't the same
No,
as
it's
the
not.
movie theater popcorn. That movie theater butter. Even the soda tastes different. That soda tastes like crisp. You get a Sprite or a Coke from the movie theaters. You
Oh,
take that
bro.
first sip. Woo, you're like, hey, that's why I got a large because we got to get that refill. You know, you can't refill over here in the house. Once the popcorn's out, it's out. You
Yeah,
know,
man.
but yeah, I think my first I watched episode 1, 2, and 3, obviously, all in theaters, but I never seen the OT, the original trilogy, in theaters until they came out with the anniversary. It was a 40th anniversary of the Return of the Jedi, which happens to be my favorite OT movie, which I learned later on that a lot of people didn't like Return of the Jedi because it had Ewoks, and they like, they put that in for kids. You hate Ewoks? You really gonna complain about Ewoks, furry little bears with rocks and slingshots? Come on, bro,
Do
that's
people
gangster, right?
forget? Do they forget that they were literally about to roast Han and Luke
Yeah,
until
like what's wrong with Ewoks? They look cute, yes, but cute could be deceiving. Like a raccoon looks cute, but go next to a raccoon and see what's going to do to you. But that's an Ewok. Like I thought that was like Wicked was dope. Like that's why I had to get oh my god. I'm having a
Warwick
brain fart.
Davis?
Warwick Davis, there you go. That's why I had to get his autograph, bro. But yeah,
Oh,
man. And they saved Princess Leia. Like save Princess Leia. They're the ones that set up that booby trap that had Han and Luke and all of them. Like, come on, they're the
yeah.
best. But yeah, seeing Star Wars in the theater, we need. I'm excited for Mando. But
Yes.
we need more Star Wars, and we just need something fresh and new, and so keep the same directors for God's sakes, like same directors in the movies, so it connects together. Because I'm not a big like sequels fan. I don't want to say that the sequels were terrible because there were some good parts of the sequels. It's just I think they just needed if J.J. Abram was gonna do one and then the last one, just do the middle. Keep the same story, keep it all connecting because it felt like it kind of changed a little bit. Ryan Johnson, he's a good person on his own, but maybe it just wasn't for him and changing Luke's story, bro. You can't be doing that, man. Luke is sacred to a lot of people. Luke to people is Star Wars. Luke is Star Wars.
He was the first Skywalker you ever meet.
Yeah, we see the kid, the farm boy, you know, power converters, Tashi Station. Come on, kissing his sister.
He
Like,
wants to put in his application to the Academy a season early. Like, come on
yeah,
now.
come on. We was it moisture farmers, bro. Come on, man. I gotta do something better than that. But
Oh man.
yeah, I like the theaters. It was right. It was good.
Yeah. Like
What got you into Star Wars?
I was actually about to say the first memory I ever have. I've done so many. I did a skit about it on the first video I ever did on this channel. I've talked about it so many times, but I was 4 years old. It was 2004. I went downstairs to go bother my grandpa at the time, and he was watching a movie. And I was like, hold up, why is this black robot fighting this human dude? And whoa, what's up with these swords? And it was actually the scene where Vader says, when I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am
Right,
the
and the
master.
master, yes.
Dude, and ever since then, it was just, even to this day, like I remember when I was like 4 or 5 watching the movies with the telescoping plastic lightsabers, the light up telescoping sabers, and now I've got theory sabers and saber theory and neopixels and all that, and I'll literally watch the movies with my lightsabers.
Hey, man. It, see, going back to like I was saying about, I feel bad for the Star Wars fans back in the days because they didn't really get that much love, made fun of. But bro, it's like I think I think it was when I think it was when I hit 30. When I hit 30 years old, I was like, bro, why am I fighting this? This is me. This is who I am, and there's nothing wrong with it. Because when I got married young, so I got married when I was 19, gonna be 20. And I had this thing in my head that, okay, you're married now, you gotta be mature. You gotta start, buying mature things like mulch for the grass and plants and couches, and you shouldn't be buying helmets and lightsabers and collectibles. So when it came to episode 2, my favorite movie, I got very little collectibles from episode 2 because I felt like, my ex, because she's my ex-wife now. My ex-wife at the time probably frowned upon that. Like it's a waste of money. Like why are you buying these
Yeah.
collectibles? So I think I got like 3 figures from episode 2, maybe a book, obviously the movie, but I don't have that much. So that's why now anything episode 2 related, oh, I'm all over it. Like I go to yard sales, I go to antiques shops, anything old school episode 2 around my time, I'm buying it now. But yeah, in my 30s, I was like, why am I trying to fight this, bro? I think I've been to a con until like I hit 30. First time, going to like a MegaCon, and MegaCon was different back then. So, but yeah, I was like, no, this is me. Uh, the commercial said it. I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. There's nothing wrong with people buying collectibles because people buy watches, high heels, purses, makeup, cigars, jewelry. So people collect things at the end of
Yep.
the day. Even regardless, somebody says to you, "Oh, I don't collect anything." You do. It could be stamps. It could be whatever it is. It could be actually plates. How many Christmas plates, Thanksgiving plates? If you have so many plates or coffee mugs, then you're a collectible. You collect things. If you have how many Bath and Body Works candles do you have? If you
Water
have more,
bottles.
if yeah, water bottles, yeah. Oh, not these ones, but the other ones, the Wallas
Like
and
the fancy ones.
Stanleys. Yeah, everybody collects something. I don't care what anybody says. It could be hair ties. You could be like, oh, I don't collect anything. How many hair ties do you have? Why do
How
you
many
need all these
hats do you
colors?
have?
Hats, exactly. So to me, I got to the point where I became a little bit defensive at the point. I was like, hey man, this is me. If I collect collectibles and I'm going to conventions, at least I'm not shooting up drugs, shooting people, or going to the strip club. So it's like, hey, I'm not doing anything wrong.
Yeah,
And
man.
then just cool to find out community now that I see people around my age. I see some young people too. And now it just like all of a sudden became cool. Now I'm looking at people rocking Star Wars shirts and I'm like, do you even know about Star Wars? And they're like, yeah, I love Star Wars. And now all of a sudden you see jack guys in the gym with them skinny tank tops, working on their biceps and everything, and they got a Star Wars shirt on.
Yep.
You know, hey, it's just to the point where now Star Wars is cool. And now we're in the opposite side looking at people with their Star Trek stuff and be like, bro, why you wearing Star Trek stuff? I'm just kidding. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Star Trek fans. I just had to do it. I mean, there's always going to be a rival between Star Wars fans and Star Trek. Come on.
Well, I mean, we did pick the right star show, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I watched Star Trek Next Generation. It was good. I did watch some Star Trek movies, but I never had Star Trek merch. It wasn't to the point where I'll watch it. I'll sit there watch it because my dad grew up on Star Trek, but he grew up on like the old school Star Trek.
Yeah.
So I bought him. He has an Enterprise ship, so I got him one of the Enterprise, whatever Star Trek ships. I gave it to him. Um, but yeah, uh, again, that's what MegaCon was back then. Like MegaCon, they just announced today. Andy Serkis is coming to MegaCon, so I'm
Yeah,
excited
I
for that.
saw.
I'm excited for that. But MegaCon is really becoming like a New York Comic Con, San Diego Comic Con, with these actors they're getting, and it's getting bigger and bigger every year. But my first MegaCon, the biggest attraction there was the Jim Lee. It does comics, and the whole cast of the old Star Wars. I mean, not Star Wars, Star Trek
Oh
show.
shoot.
That was like the biggest draw. That's it. So last year you had Ewan, Hayden, Tom Hiddleston. Like, what? That's crazy. So if that was last year, what the heck is gonna happen for 2025 MegaCon? I can't wait.
Yeah, I was gonna go to MegaCon. Then I thought about it and I was like, that's a really big looking convention, and I do well with crowds, but that I could tell like I was gonna have a hard time dealing with everything. So I was like, screw it. Then Star Wars Gazer was like, hey, come to Planet City Comic Con. We started planning that out, and they actually just announced Andy Serkis yesterday.
Oh, nice.
But we canceled it because they would hype up all their announcements, and then it'd be like, I've never heard of this person. Like, what
Hmm.
is this? And like the only reason I kind of got excited was because the Clone Wars actors were there one year. They had Ian McDermott there last year, so it was like, okay. And I mean, they came out the gate strong. They had Bo-Katan, Katie, I forget her last name, but she's
Sackhoff.
going there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'd I'd rather go to ICCC. So that's what we're doing now.
Yeah, ICC, you're gonna have so much fun. And I know you said like, hey man, I can't wait to run into you. You're gonna run into us every day.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing about ICC Con. It's like you'll see everybody kind of like in the morning when it opens. We all gather up in a circle. We're saying what's up to each other. We're joking around. All you're gonna see all of us. Like there's one moment where you see in my vlog and probably other people's vlog, like all the vloggers are like filming each other at the same time because we're about to record, and then everybody kind of goes on and do their own thing, but we're not far apart. Like
Yeah.
we like, maybe Tony's gonna go and get Lando's autograph. Cool. I'm gonna go back to the exhibit floor because there was a lot of cool collectibles that I saw, or maybe some tables that I didn't film the first day. So I go do that. I filmed the first table. I talked to some of the vendors. Maybe I end up buying something. And then all of a sudden I see Tony again. I'm like, hey, you got the autograph? He's like, yeah. I'm like, let me see it. See the autograph. Then he's gonna go to the room. So that's a good part
Yeah,
that they have the
man.
room, go to the room, drop something off because it's better for us to walk around with just the camera and not have anything in our hands besides the camera. But yeah, we're gonna see each other at lunch. We're gonna see each other at dinner. We're gonna see multiple times. That's why I was telling Gazer that it's not about hey. He's like, hey, it would be nice to like sit down. I said, bro, we're gonna sit down. We're gonna have lunch. We're gonna be drinking. We're gonna be
Yeah,
going
man.
around
Free
everywhere,
appetizers and drinks every night.
bro. That got me. You know me, my big that
Yeah,
that
man.
got me.
Me and Gazer actually got lucky because when I first booked my hotel room, it only let me do Friday, Saturday, and check out Sunday. Well, I went and tried to edit it to Thursday through Sunday, kept telling me no rooms available, no rooms available. Well, right before me and Gazer got on a stream or recorded a video or something, it let me update it. And I have not messed with it since. So we are all set for Thursday through Sunday.
Yeah, we were trying to do Thursday through Monday because most likely, unless now I think things might change, I was gonna drive over there. But I think now maybe I just end up flying because if we have to check out on Sunday, we have to put all our stuff in the hotel like closet and then get a flight, catch a flight maybe at 8 or 9 to get back here in Florida, maybe at midnight and get picked up because I'm not gonna drive at night.
Yeah.
First of all, I could barely see at night. And I'm not driving all these states uh, at night. So and then,
Yeah.
I think it would be a little bit cost more, or I could save some money spending money on another night and leaving on Monday. So I don't know. I'm still on the fence, but for right now, we got Thursday through Sunday. Me and Tony, we got our own things.
Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be awesome. My
Yeah,
first ever Star Wars convention. Oh yeah.
and what's crazy for me and Tony is like, we always go to Star Wars Celebration, so that's before Star Wars Celebration, and oh no, after at Star Wars Celebration. So we're gonna be back for like 2.5 weeks, almost 3 weeks, and then boom, ICC Con. So my girlfriend's probably gonna look at me and be like, "Really, you going again?" And
Yes.
I'm like, "Babe, you know, you are now dating a YouTuber. I need this content, bro."
Hey, just tell her it's a tax write-off.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. It's a tax write-off.
Oh man. But let's go ahead and kind of get back into some of these questions. So I think I might know the answer here, but who's your favorite character in all of Star Wars? Legends, canon, comics, movies,
Ooh.
shows?
It is Vader. Is Anakin. It's it's becoming more like I love Darth Vader and Darth Vader and Anakin. They're the same person, but in like if you look at it, I think Anakin more looking through his story, only having his mother, being a slave, being always told what to do, wanting to live an adventure, goes out and now he's free, um, becomes a Padawan, doing all these different types of things, fighting adventures and all that stuff, but missing his mom. So now he's like, I'm having these visions. I need to leave. I need to go see my mom. To her dying in his arms. And now he's upset because he's like, I thought I was doing all these things to come back to either free my mom, and now she died. And now he's in love with Padme. And he's like, I just lost my mom. I don't want to lose her. So he would do anything, anything to make sure that Padme doesn't die. Or you'll be able to, if something does happen to her, to bring her back to life. So he had that in his head that is like, that's what really the episode 2, the reason why I like it so much is because you see an Anakin that's excited to see the girl that he met so many years ago and is falling in love with her. And at the same time having issues and visions of his mother and that struggle because he might feel like a little bit sometimes uh feel like, damn, I'm out here doing all these things and my mom is out there somewhere. So
Yeah.
a little guilt is killing him inside that, yeah, she told me to go and to do this so I could, this is what I was destined to do. But I still have that guilt inside that my mom is somewhere. And then to find out that she was sold to somebody else and now the Tuscan Raiders have her. And so then, yeah, who would not want to kill the Tuscan Raiders? After what they did to my mom. I would kill the Tuscan Raiders if they did that to my mom. I would.
Easily.
Easy, yeah. And if lightsabers were real, it would happen quick. I'll take them all out, you
Not just
know.
the men, but the women
Women
and the
and the
children too.
children too, and their dogs and their cats and their lizards and whatever they had. Yeah. I'll take them all out because they killed my mom. And then that episode 3 of just doing whatever it takes to learn from Palpatine how to protect Padme. And yeah, it's that story that really got me. It's like, yeah, he's my favorite character. I mean, I have a lot of other characters that I like. I think I could say my top 3 would be Anakin slash Vader, Jango Fett, and Mace Windu. And they all happen to be the majority in all episode 2. Mace is in all 3. But Django, because man, he was a badass bounty hunter.
Oh,
He
dude,
just happened
yeah.
to face Mace Windu, and Mace is a badass Jedi. So he made Mace made Django look like he was nothing, but just Mace was just taught in a lot of arts of slinging a lightsaber. So he faced a tough Jedi during that moment. But that battle between him and Obi-Wan in Episode 2, in Camino, in the rain, that was awesome. That fight there, and then to know that they used him to clone all the troopers. Who doesn't like the clone troopers? I mean, we talk about Rex all the time, right?
Exactly.
So that came from Django. So for me, I that's who are like my top three, but it's always gonna be Anakin slash Vader. Always.
Dude, yeah, Anakin's easily my favorite, especially Revenge of the Sith. Anakin just
Oh, yes.
that that's just what I grew up with. That was the first movie I ever saw in theaters, and yeah, it's oh man.
Yeah. That battle in Mustafar, like, would I don't think anything touches it, even though some people say the battle between Ahsoka and Maul was pretty good. Um, just that you see behind the scenes of what Hayden and Ewan had to do to create that scene, and they practice. I think Ewan got his knuckles crushed a couple times.
Oh yeah.
I mean, yes, everything is choreographed, but man, they had to learn how to do those swings, and that movie is just it's crazy. Like, if I didn't like Episode 2 too much, I think obviously Revenge of the Sith would be there. I kind of feel like Episode 2 and 3, like, to me, if I can put both of them together, those are my favorite, because that's the turning point. Like, you see the beginning, Anakin, Padawan Braid, smiling, flirting, falling in love, to he's choking his girl that is pregnant because it's like he felt betrayed, So it's like so crazy. And anytime the movies are on, I remember it was our anniversary weekend and we're in Savannah, Georgia. We love going to Savannah. Savannah's so nice. And we went into this dope bar, and it was like late night, and we were like getting a couple drinks, order some wings, and my girlfriend, she's like, look what they're showing. And it was Revenge of the Sith. And I was like, let's go. Even on our anniversary, Star Wars is always here. And
What's
literally,
funny?
I'm watching it. We're in a bar, music is going. I can't hear because obviously they're playing music, but on the screen, you see Revenge of the Sith. And I'm here eating my wings, getting my drink, and watching Star Wars. So,
Dude, what's funny is FX is actually playing the prequels right now, and Revenge of the Sith is on in my living room. Like I can just hear it in the background.
bro, it's amazing. I'm telling you, Star Wars is, and I think a lot of people are in, like, some people now are intimidated. I remember talking to that manager that was okay with me leaving early, so I could get home and watch Skeleton Crew. He loves Stranger Things. Like, when I mean he loves Stranger Things, he has a glass like cabinet of Funko Pops signed by all the actors,
Oh shoot!
posters signed. He has a clock that was custom made Stranger Things. So he loves Stranger Things. And I'm like, you love Stranger Things, right? So I showed him the two trailers that they had for Skeleton Crew, and I'm like, bro, this is kind of like Stranger Things kids. And he's like, yo, this is pretty cool. He was like, is this like a part of something? I'm like, bro, don't worry about it. If you never watch any of the Star Wars shows or movies, you can still watch this.
Yeah,
You
man.
can still watch it. There might be somebody that comes out during a moment, and we be like, "Oh, that guy was it Vane? Vane is from Mando season 2 or whatever."
Yeah,
And then so we know that because we watched Mando, but it's not a big deal that he doesn't know that person. He just knows that person as a pirate, so that's fine. So I try to convince him. So maybe I'm gonna ask him next time I see him and say, "Did you watch it?" But yeah, Star Wars could get anybody, and it just sometimes people are intimidated because there's so many movies, so many shows, and they feel like they gotta know everything. I mean, my kids got into Star Wars through Mando because I try to get my kids into Star Wars. I even forced them to dress up in Halloween. I think my daughter was Pilot Luke, X-wing Luke, and my son was Kylo Ren, and I was Darth Vader, and we went
That's awesome.
around at a Halloween. But they were just weren't into Star Wars. But then when they watched Mando, they were like, "Ooh!" Now my daughter loves Mando. She got like a Lego of Mando and Grogu. She has like a Boba Fett shirt. Like she just loves like Mando. So she's like, "When is Mando coming to the movie theaters? Because we're going, right, Dad?" I'm like, "Of course." Like, what do you mean we're going? Of course we're going. But it's cool because she's 17 now, and my son is 13. He's more into Bad Batch. He likes Bad Batch and anime. So again, whatever brings him in, and that's the thing. From you have people that might read a what's it called? I can't even think about it, but a Timothy Zahn, novel. You
Oh,
could read
Legends
those.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, you could read Legends, and that gets you into Star Wars. You could play a video game because I know I was showing some of my employees that I was live streaming Jedi Fallen Order, and they're like, "What game is that?" You could play that game, and that gets you into Star Wars. There's so many avenues that could get you into Star Wars, and then you start wondering, who's this creature? Who's that guy? Oh, what? There was a book about this guy. Oh, what? There's a movie, and they're in there. Let me go watch those movies, and then it just gets you. And then boom, there's no race. You don't need to
Yeah.
watch all 9 movies in one day. Take your time.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, it didn't all come out in one day. I promise you that.
Lucky that they're lucky. Anybody getting into Star Wars right now? Look at me. I'm gonna get a little bit closer. A little bit closer to them. Anybody getting into Star Wars right now, you're lucky. You didn't have to wait years like me for movies to come out and content. So get Disney Plus and start watching.
Yeah. Oh my god, I'm definitely turning that into a short. Ricky threatens the Tales from Peridia audience.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
I'm kind of jealous, man. These people get into stuff, and it's like, bro, we didn't. You know how it is. And the thing that also kills me is that we have Disney Plus shows that are premiering. Like I could literally watch right now, Skeleton Crew. But when episode 1 and episode 2 and 3 came out, episode 1, I was fortunate to watch it multiple times because I worked at the theaters. When episode 2 came out, I was married. I didn't work for the theaters. So if I want to rewatch it, I had to go back to the theaters.
yeah, man.
There's no rewatching. You had to go back. And guess what? You had to wait another 2 years, 3 years for the next movie.
And
And
then
then after, yeah.
not only that, it took what, like 6 to 8 months for the DVDs to come out, close to a
Oh, yeah.
year.
Close to a year.
Yeah.
Close to a year. So yeah, now everything is just like it's crazy. Like they're like now streaming. I'm like, wasn't this in the movie theaters 2 months ago?
Bro, they
Now
were
it's streaming?
streaming it while it's in the theaters.
Yeah, some of them, yeah. It's crazy. So yeah, people got it lucky now.
But we're gonna try to wrap this up. I got 2 more questions. I've actually
Hey.
got like 12 questions here, but
Wow, you had 12 questions. All
not
right,
not not necessarily 12, but it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 altogether. But
okay. How many questions? How many questions are left?
we've only answered the first 2, but I
Okay,
really
so
want
this is
to
what we're
know.
gonna do. This is what we call the segment part of the from Peridia, rapid fire. So you're gonna ask me the question, and we're gonna go through all of them because I want to make sure we go through all of them, and I'm gonna do my best to answer them quickly. All right.
Yeah, I got you. All right, lightning round starting now. Favorite Star Wars game if you've played any? Obviously, you've played Jedi Fallen Order.
favorite Star Wars game, it would have to be Jedi Fallen Order.
It is such a good game. Um,
It
Favorite Star Wars book, if you've read any.
that is real quick. None, because I haven't read any. I have
Oh,
to get into it. I actually was looking to purchase the what's the name? Darth Revan.
oh,
So
dude.
yeah, I want to read Darth Revan. And the reason why, because I'm getting Darth Revan's hot toy. I already paid it off, so it should be coming. I'm gonna be live streaming that. But I know the gist and the story of Darth Revan. I've watched so many YouTube videos and people explain about Darth Revan. So that's why I bought the hot toy, because Darth Revan is a badass. But I want to be that true fan and read the whole entire story.
Yeah, man. I'm working on the book right now. I actually finished the first Darth Bane book yesterday, and
Ooh.
that's that's a really good one. What got you into collecting?
Um, what got me into collecting is just, I think I've always been a collector. Um, I still got my Ninja Turtles, my Power Rangers, some GI Joes. I think I just always been fascinated about toys, and I want to say toys has always been around for many decades. But I feel like toys really hit in the 80s. And a lot of people are gonna say no, it was like the 90s, no, it was the 70s. No, 80s, there was a lot of commercials. Toys R Us was like a commercial all the time, every month. I feel like me growing up in the 80s, collecting toys was the cool thing, and I think I just never really got out of it.
Dude,
Yeah.
oh, I love that. I love it. Easily, Tony and Laura Mandalore got me into collecting figures and all that. So, and cards. So I owe all my debt and financial crises
Oh yeah,
to
yeah,
them boys.
definitely Tony. Tony is a bad so it was so funny. And I told Tony this story. So Tony was big in collecting sneakers. Both of us were, right? We big in collecting sneakers, Jordans, retros, LeBrons, all that stuff, and sports jerseys and all. I didn't know Tony was a Star Wars fan. Like he really, to me, it didn't show. He really hid that, because we both were. So we worked together. I know Tony for over 2 decades. We worked together, and we both collected sneakers. We both like sports, and we both love LeBron, and we both Mets fans. And then I was a big fan of collecting Walking Dead, so that's what actually got me into Funko Pops, was collecting Walking Dead bloody versions, the
Heck
exclusive bloody
yeah.
versions, and I used to get them autographed at the conventions. And I remember Tony me asking me about conventions. He was asking me about what's in there. And he's like, "Oh, I might want to go to MegaCon." And I'm like, "Yo, come with me." So Tony's, I think, first MegaCon was 2015. And he came with me. So at the time, I was the master of cons, because I've been to cons. I collected collectibles. I had the information of what was exclusive, because Tony was also collecting Walking Dead Funko Pops. So we both were collecting Walking Dead Funko Pops, the bloody versions, and I could just see Tony, like little by little, his piles of Funko Pops collecting. And he would always blame me because I got him into collecting Funko Pops. Then it went from Walking Dead to Doctor Who to Marvel to Star Wars Funko Pops. And then I found out that he's a really big Star Wars fan. I'm like, oh yeah. And so so now 2 years later, so 2015, I think, was his first con, and I was there with him. 2017, he saw that there was posters all over Orlando that said Orlando Celebration, Star Wars Celebration. And he's the one that's like, yo, have you been to a Star Wars Celebration? I'm like, no. And he's like, man, you want to go? Let's just go 2 days to see what it's about. So Tony's first Star Wars celebration was my first Star Wars celebration. We went together, and ever since then, it's a wrap. Tony has two cats, and that's it. Tony has a lot of time. So Tony, as the years go, has progressed. And now Tony is the master. Tony is in the Jedi Council now. And now I go to Tony for information. So Tony is like the bad influence of everything. Everything that you see, majority of the stuff that I have back here, to this microphone, to me even being on YouTube, is all because of Tony. So a lot of he has not only influenced me, he's influenced a lot of you guys.
Yeah, I mean, he got me to go to Ocala Comic Con just by randomly mentioning it and that Shin Hati was going. And now I'm addicted to cons and all that.
There we go. That's how it starts.
All right. So, what's your favorite convention you've been to?
Ooh, favorite convention that I've been to would have to be Star Wars Celebration Chicago. The Chicago is, I don't know, it was just a good, it was 5 days. So the first time they ever had 5 days Star Wars Celebration. Chicago is just the vibe itself. The food was good out there. The con, it was a lot of it was big, it was huge. So you could walk everywhere. It wasn't really like, I don't, I want to say I get claustrophobic, but I avoid large crowds. I'm a big guy, so it getting into tight spaces is ain't me. I'm gonna knock somebody down. Um, so Chicago was just like, it felt like we didn't have to rush, because when you minimize it to like only Saturday and Sunday, or only Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it limits like the time that you get to see everything. When it was
Yeah.
5 days, we by the fourth day, we seen everything. So our fifth day, we just going around in circles looking at stuff again, just in case something's on sale or somebody brought something else out. But it was easily good. And then Chicago's known for the bean
Yeah.
structure that they have there. So one night after me and Tony got some amazing tacos from an authentic Mexican restaurant, we're walking and we see from a distance lightsabers at the bean. I'm like, what? And there was a lightsaber meetup because it was Star Wars Celebration in Chicago. So they must have posted it somewhere on Facebook. Everybody were meeting up at the bean at this time. And I didn't have a lightsaber, and Tony didn't have a lightsaber at the time. Both of us didn't own lightsabers. It was only our second Star Wars Celebration. But we filmed it. We recorded it on our phones, and it was so cool to see everybody line up on two sides and then just run and attack each other and start hitting each other. The lights reflecting off the bean. It was just a moment. So
Dude.
hands down, like the whole weekend, it wasn't just the convention itself. It was just Chicago, the food, the meetups, everything. All it was just good.
Dude, that I need to go to a celebration next time they have it in the States.
Oh yes, that's the hands down. If you don't go, then we're revoking your Star Wars fan card, bro.
Oh, boy. Okay. So I'm definitely going. I got to go. Oh, man. Hey, at least I'm hitting Star Wars Celebration Junior. All right.
Yeah, exactly.
So, what's your favorite collection piece that you have?
Ooh, favorite collection piece that I have. Let me turn around. Well, I would say my favorite collection piece, it's not even a Star Wars piece. My
That
favorite
doesn't have to be
collection,
Star Wars.
yeah, my favorite collection piece is a Funko Pop. It's a White Ranger, glow in the dark, San Diego Comic Con. Only 480 pieces made back in 2013.
Ooh,
And the reason why there's a lot of reasons why. It was my first San Diego Comic Con numbered pop, and it's White Ranger, which is my favorite Ranger. And then I got Jason David Frank to sign it back in 2016.
bro.
So he passed away. So just getting to meet him for the first time at MegaCon, he signed my pop. He didn't sign it in the area that I wanted it to be signed, so he apologized and he signed it on the side, on the top, took a photo with me, and gave me a card of his signed as well. So I got like 3 autographs.
Dude,
Eh, eh,
that's
So for me, like I've always gotten this question because I used to collect solely Funko Pops, but now I'm kind of like broadening into so many different things from helmets, lightsabers, Legos, figures, plaques, autographs, now to cards, collecting cards now, right? Um, they always ask me like, if there was that one thing, if you had to get rid of your whole entire Funko Pop collection, what is that one thing you keep? It will be that Jason David Frank Funko Pop.
Yeah, dude, that's oh my god. Rest in peace, Jason David Frank. The greatest Ranger, easily.
Yes, hands down. Yeah.
And it's funny you bring up collecting cards because
There you go. There you go. Look at
What's
you.
funny is those are all like from Tony, and like these two are easily my favorite ones. Got
Yes.
the Anakin Tusken Revenge.
Yes. That's one of my favorite ones.
And then, of course, we got the
Ooh.
Rescue on Geonosis.
Yes.
I was so happy when I seen those.
Yeah, I got that one. What is this? This one right here is out of 50. So I felt like I was so lucky.
Oh,
Out of
dude.
50. I was like, bro, how is this? And I pulled this from the first box. And episode 2 is my favorite movie. I was like, how is this in that box numbered 50? They knew that I love this card. So
Yeah. I actually ended up getting I think it's like out of it's either out of 125 or 150. I forgot what number. I think it's like 24 out of like 125 or something like that. But it's the Lake Country card where it's just the artwork of
yes.
the Lake Country of Naboo.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that and my Mando season 2 episode 16 or episode 8 whatever it is card with Luke holding Grogu and R2. That's like my favorite moment in any of Disney Star Wars. So that is like the most special card that I've got.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, man. Luke and Grogu, man. Wow.
Well,
That moment was special.
Oh, dude, I was talking to my buddy Darth Christensen, sending my reactions. I was crying. I was bawling like a baby. I was walking up to my TV going, that's not his X-Wing. It can't, no, because I didn't know nothing. After The Last Jedi, I knew I didn't watch anything Star Wars until I kept seeing clips of the Clone Wars and Rebels, and I was like, we're going to get back into Star Wars. And if it weren't for me seeing them clips and all that, I wouldn't be here today.
Hey, exactly, right?
Hey,
Maybe you would have. You would have saw some other stuff too.
Probably, yeah. You've already answered the next one multiple times. It's Attack of the Clones. What's your favorite movie? But what's your favorite show?
Ooh. Live action, animated, or all together?
All together.
Damn, that's tough.
I always stump people with this one.
It is a tough one because if we're gonna say, like, I feel like one is 1A and 1B because it's not fair. One is animated, one is live action.
You can say both; it don't matter.
But I think now I gotta be honest because I think what really got me back into, because I kind of lost a little bit of faith in Star Wars, but what got me back into it was the Mando. I mean, come on, it's my logo. It's me with the helmet off. Like, I have to say Mando. Mando is, even though season 3 wasn't the best, yeah, Mando. Mando when it was the first live action TV series, Star Wars, and they promoted that from Disney Plus. That's the only reason why I purchased Disney Plus, was to watch Mando on a premiere. We went to Star Wars Celebration Chicago, and they showed us 15 minutes of Mando.
Bro.
Security, as soon as they announced and said, John Favreau said, "Hey, you guys want to watch 15 minutes?" Everybody in the crowd's like, "Yeah." And then all of a sudden, security came out of nowhere down each aisle of that arena. Turn your phones off, cameras off, turn your phones off. I was like, dang, I felt like I was being like, what's going on? And it's because they didn't want nobody recording any of this footage because Star Wars Celebration was in April. Mando didn't come out until like November or October, something like that.
Oh,
So imagine all those months. We seen the first 15 minutes, and me watching that was, yo, they got it right. And from that moment to yeah. But my second one I would say is really hard is Star Wars Rebels. Rebels, even though Clone Wars is good, there's some seasons of Clone Wars with all those little side missions and all that stuff that kind of turned me away a little bit.
like that weird little droid art thing.
Keep on watching it, keep on watching it, keep on watching, because I think I watched Rebels before I even finished Clone Wars. And
Really?
Tony's like, you didn't finish Clone Wars, and I'm like, nah, man, it just didn't like stick with me. And I think it was like the first two seasons I watched of Clone Wars, and I was like, it just wasn't like Rebels hit me because Ezra, man. I think Ezra was is a great character and his story and his journey, and my man's in the tower by himself and trying to learn about the Force, and then you got, that you can't really tell that you're supposed to be Jedi's at this time. It's got to be on a hush. Um, I think it kind of stood out a lot to me. And again, shout out to Tony for putting me on Rebels. Shout out to Tony to put me on anything animated because I was a very Star Wars how you say snub, not snub. I don't know. I was just one of those Star Wars fans. Like if it's not in the theaters, it ain't Star Wars.
Yeah,
If it ain't live action, I'm not watching it.
that's how I
But
was until
those, yeah,
literally right before Ahsoka came out.
yeah. I was like the live action. It's good. Star Wars cartoons are for kids. And then I started watching Rebels, and now I got every single Rebel pop except for the last two that were announced. Yeah, I got Rebel Birch. I got the Ghost is my favorite ship. If that's one of your questions, it's the Ghost. I already answered it. Boom.
That actually will be added to the list now, so we will have 11 questions.
Yeah, what is your favorite ship? Hey, some people might say Millennium Falcon. Some people might say the Chimera. The
Mine's
Chimera is pretty
easily
bad.
Luke's X-wing because I mean it's Luke's X-wing.
It's
Either
Luke's
that or
X-Men.
Anakin's yellow starfighter.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah, that Starfighter is where the fun begins.
that opening for Revenge of the Sith, easily the best opening
Best,
of any of the
yes,
Star
sir.
Wars movies. But next one, what's your favorite non-Star Wars hobby?
Ooh, that is a very good question. Non-Star Wars hobby. Um, I do watch anime. I do watch anime. I would say I like going thrifting, shopping, like to like cheap places like Ross, TJ Maxx, Marshalls,
Hey man, that's where you get all
uh,
the good deals.
Ollie's, but also things for the house. Like,
Yeah, man.
my girlfriend loves to decorate the house the theme of the month. Like, so if it's like December is Christmas, November, Thanksgiving, February, Valentine's Day, she gives me May. Even though May's Mother's Day, she gives me the month of May because she knows the Star Wars month. So there's like Star Wars on the table and everything. So I like to go shopping for like things like that for the house, decorate the house. And then the other thing I like to do is I like to go to EDM, EDC, music festivals. My old ass dancing out there, drinking, having a good time with the youngins kind of teaching them how to hang. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And I love to cook.
Heck yeah, man.
I love to cook. We're not talking about just scrambled eggs, all right? Don't be trying me in the comments, okay? I know how to cook full meals. Okay, full meals.
I can already see Tony trying to discredit you on that.
Tony does not know how to cook. Tony eats like a 13-year-old child in the kids menu at IHOP. All right. I said it, Tony.
Oh my god. And last one before we get out of here. Any tips or words of wisdom for the people watching at home?
Just be you, man. Let's get close. We gotta get close for this. Okay? You gotta get close for this. Social media could be a gift and a curse. And you gotta understand that everybody lives their own path. Some of us grow up being very fortunate. Maybe parents own a business. You inherited a house. Maybe your parents co-signed for you or gave you half of the money for the down payment of the house. And then some of us live in apartments and we're paying rent, or we're living in a duplex, or we're living in a mobile home. Everybody got their own path. Just being you, man. Keep on rocking, being yourself. You know, you might see all these nice things that I have back there. You don't even know if I'm like at $100,000 debt for the stuff that's back here. I'm not, but I'm just saying, you don't know that. A lot of things that you see on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, what's it called? TikTok could be false. So just continue doing you and what you like to do in life. If it's reading, then read. If it's cooking, then cook. If it's doing artwork, do your thing. Don't let others push you from what you're passionate about in life. One thing that I try to at least teach my kids is find something that you're passionate about and see if you can make that into a career so that you wake up every day not hating your job. You wake up every day going, damn, I got to go to this stinking job again with the boss that I don't like. Be your own boss. My daughter loves artwork. I took her down to Artist Alley in MegaCon. I said, look at all these artists having their own booth, making their own comics, selling their own artwork, and making money out of something that they're passionate about. If I would have known what I know now, I would have probably been on YouTube 15 years ago talking about collectibles, unboxings, because these are the things that I love. I love collectibles, love talking about Star Wars. So just be you. Don't worry about what everybody else says. Because if it makes you happy, then that's what's all important. Okay.
Yes, sir.
You go on social media to support your friends. You go on social media to stay informed when new collectibles, new releases, new items come out. We don't go to social media to stalk others or to envy others of what they got. Again, you may have one lightsaber, or you may be like Tony that has 50. It doesn't matter. Hey, you may not even have a lightsaber. I didn't have a lightsaber until 2023, and that's fine. But it doesn't make me less of a Star Wars fan. So if you just have one collectible, one t-shirt, one hat, keep on rocking it, keep on supporting Star Wars, and just have fun. Be you. Boom.
That was beautiful. My words of wisdom would probably be enjoy what you want to enjoy and fuck everybody else. Don't listen to
Exactly.
them.
Exactly. Right there. Don't worry about everybody else. I don't care, man. They see me with my gym shorts, my Crocs, my Star Wars shirt, and my hat backwards at a Ross. And they're like, oh, look at this nerd over here. This adult nerd buying figures. Hey, it what makes me happy. You know? Are you happy? You can ask that person because what is it? Money doesn't buy you happiness. It's true. You there's so many people that are less fortunate, but they're the happiest people in the world because they're just living their life and they know that they're doing everything that's best for their kids and for themselves. So having money doesn't necessarily mean anything. The one person that I always bring up all the time is Robin Williams. Robin Williams is one of my favorite actors and comedians. Mrs. Doubtfire, hands down, is one of my favorite movies. And it sucked that, I don't know what he was going through in life, that he had to take his life away. And that's crazy because he had money, he had family, right? He had fame. But you see
Made
those
so many
things.
people laugh.
Yeah, so many people laugh. But what he was going through. And another message, if you are watching this, if you are going through something, seek help, man. Sometimes we have too much pride, right? Sometimes we have too much pride, like it's our problem, it's my problem, nobody else's problem. Sometimes you just got to talk to somebody, man. And if Star Wars is a way for you to, just a connection to your passion, just to keep on watching Star Wars, don't listen to what anybody says. All right.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna do the little outro because you've got I think it's Jedi Bob's starship
Yeah,
to go
buddy.
build. This was such a great interview, dude. We might have to get you on for a part 2, part 3.
Definitely, man. And you guys don't have to wait 2 or 3 years for that one. How
Yeah,
about that?
no. Don't even have to wait 6 months for it to hit YouTube or streaming services.
Exactly.
But hope you guys enjoyed this video. All of Ricky's links will be down in the description down below. May the Force be with you always. Peace.
Peace.
No. The Force is my ally. That's all I need.